A man is a child of nature. No wonder that tired of smoke townsmen are in need of relaxation. The best place of rest for body and soul is in forests, among the fields or near a river. At night in a tent under starry sky, or kayaking down a river as if by magic will relieve the stress and fatigue of the entire year. At present, Russian tourist agencies offer a number of routes: hiking tours, horse and bike riding tours, kayaking, picking up mushrooms and berries or other goods of nature, as well as visiting the most beautiful and unique nooks. This kind of activity holidays is called ecological or green tourism. In Russia, there are many places that attract devotees of adventure holidays. The nature of Nizhny Novgorod land also keeps a great number of stunning revelations, secrets and mysteries. On the territory of the region, there are about 400 native zones that are of great ecological, ethnographical and cultural value for the entire country of Russia. It is for a reason that developing ecological tourism is one of the top priorities in the tourism development program of the government of Nizhny Novgorod region. If you travel to the north of the region, you'll get to the dense taiga and mixed forests with stunningly picturesque, crystal pure deep lakes. In former times, these pearls of Nizhny Novgorod land inspired writers and artists Korolenko, Prishvin, Korovin, Rerich, Rimsky-Korsakov. The south of the region, the right bank of the Volga River, is highlands with karst lakes, chasms and caves in the middle of open forest steppe landscapes. The mysterious and extremely scenic caves with grottos and underground lakes will leave a lasting impression with you. Many legends tell about Nizhny Novgorod land, its history and attractions. Architectural monuments, beauty of the nature, ancient handicrafts and modern manufacturing of unique creations are wonderfully mixed here. Voskresensk district of Nizhny Novgorod region is one of the few districts in Russia that is officially granted the status of ecological territory. No wonder that in summer of 2008 it was decided to create a national park called Voskresensk Povetluzhye, the first park of this kind in Nizhny Novgorod region. It is a conservation area of over 77 square miles. There is no better place for those seeking after some peaceful rest than the pearl of Voskresensk district, Lake Svetlo Yar. This unique nature masterpiece is situated 12 miles to the west from the town of Voskresensk and half a mile away from the village Vladimirskaya. Svetlo Yar is a holy place, held sacred by the Orthodox. In ancient times, people came here to pray and named the lake Svetly Yar after the main deity Yarila. They also came to the lake to celebrate the special fairy night, the eve of Ivan Kupala. On that night, girls dropped garlands in the water, and if their garland linked with another one, it was a reliable sign that the girl would soon get married. There are many legends about this lake. The most mysterious and poetic one is about an ancient town of Kitesh that refused to surrender to Khan Bati and miraculously submerged in the waters of the lake. When the army of Bati came up close to Kitesh, the saintly elders called upon the Holy Queen of Heaven, asking her for help. All of a sudden, the divine light illuminated the sufferers, and the Mother of God descended from the heaven, holding the miraculous covers that made the town of Kitesh invisible. Today, Our Lady's footprint on one of the stones reminds us of this story. There is a popular belief that if you walk around the lake of Svetlo Yar 3 times along the secret path, your dearest wish will come true. And if the heavens favor you, at dawn you will see the fabled town of Kitesh, hidden by the Mother of God in the waters of Svetlo Yar lake. Voskresensk-Povitlužye is a region of dense forests, rich in mushrooms, berries, and game animals. There are numerous cowberry and bilberry glades, and plenty of medicinal cranberries in the bogs. Another treasure of Voskresensk district are its water resources. That's why this cozy nook is called Land of Forests, Lakes and Rivers. While the Volga River is respectfully referred to as Mother, the Vitluga River is fondly called Beauty. It looks like many other rivers of this region, but once you bathe in it, you will fall in love with its nice sandy banks and meadows, its coves and former riverbeds, and will sooner or later come back here. Those who are fond of distinctive primeval nature won't pass over Kerzhenets State Nature Reserve, an extraordinarily picturesque place. It stretches out over more than 155 square miles of southern taiga in the basin of the Kerzhenets River, 45 miles to the northeast from Nizhny Novgorod. Rare plants from the Red Book are kept on the territory of the reserve. Here you can even find roots of ginseng and snowdon rose that are almost gone from the native habitat, and they grow here naturally, not cultivated on a plantation. Various lichens create intricate patterns on the stones, and the flower glades are like wonderful motley giant carpets. There are many places in the reserve where literally not a single man has ever set foot. These places especially attract those who are fond of ecological tourism. A visit to the reserve is an ideal start for beginners in hunting. Experienced huntsmen will teach you to recognize beast tracks. You will have a chance to watch a fox, a polecat, an otter, or a bear through the lens of your camera, and with some luck take a photo of a bear or an elk. The reserve is a chosen habitat for various birds. 144 species are registered here. You might also watch an amazing spectacle of black kite, white-tailed eagle, fishhawk, and other birds during prey hunting. You will be charmed by the peaceful backwaters, by the banks covered with oak forests and endless meanders and whirlpools of the Kerzhenets River. You can find beaver dams and muskrat push-ups on the forest rivers, and if you're extremely discreet, you might even watch the animals. In the ecological center Zhuravushka in Kerzhenets Reserve, the tourists can learn about the available guided tours and rules of conduct on the territory of the reserve. For example, any hunting, picking up wild fruit, berries, mushrooms, halting, lighting a campfire or driving are prohibited here. The rules are strict, but they help to keep this wonderful reserve of Nizhny Novgorod region for our children to admire the sceneries, the dense forests, the slow currents of transparent amber-yellow water, to enjoy the polyphony of birds singing, and for their hearts to fill with joy when meeting inhabitants of the reserve. On the territory of Nizhny Novgorod region, there are many springs that are considered sacred. At any season, especially on the eve of religious holidays, pilgrims from all over the country come to those springs. One of them is the famous Nikola Spring in Gorodets district. A spring is considered sacred if its story is connected with a man of God who prayed at the spring, or whose icon appeared to people at the spring. As the legend tells, 300 years ago, St. John the Forerunner icon appeared at the spring. The spring had got its name after Nikola Church, that is found in the neighboring village Bogomolov. The water of this spring is rich in silver and is considered to be salubrious. The nature of Nizhny Novgorod region never ceases to surprise us with its numerous mysteries. Thus, in the middle of a broad-leaved forest, you can suddenly find some amazingly beautiful islands of steppe vegetation, which are often called Botanic El Dorado. In the neighborhood of an ancient town of Liskovo, on the petrified waves of an ancient sea, lays a picturesque plot of meadow steppe called Deer Mountain. You are likely to feel dizzy inhaling the riot of flower fragrances and will immerse into sweet somnolence for a while. And the herbs will whisper you a wonderful story of Deer Mountain. In the 11th and the 12th centuries, there was a Russian Mordvinian settlement here, and in the 14th century, a fortress was built to protect settlement from Tatar forays. On the opposite bank of the Volga, in Liskovo district, in the worldwide known village Makaryev, you can find exotic species of fauna. They are sometimes called wind cows. These are ostriches. Meeting these funny creatures will switch you on, and during an interesting guided tour, you will learn why the majority of ostriches are vegetarians, why an ostrich egg weighs about 4.5 pounds, and how these foreign birdies survive in Russia's severe climate. The tourists can take photos of themselves with the ostriches, with pheasants and peacocks who also live at this farm. We would recommend you to continue your uphill and downdale journey from Liskovo district straight to the south, to nearby Perevoz district. Here, in one of the intricate bends of the Piana River, you get a wonderful, almost fairy tale view. Suddenly, among the steppe raises a massive Wisconnet mountain taiga pine forest on its slopes. The wildwood is indented by rocky formations in shapes of cones, chasms and grottos, some of them resembling the ruins of medieval castles. This territory is a nature reserve granted a regional status, Ichalkovo Pine Forest. It is situated 10 miles to the south from Perevoz and 1 mile to the east from the village of Ichalki. Due to a heavy layer of calcareous rock that formed here 180 million years ago, a fantastic mountain relief arises here, with steep slopes of karst cavities, icy and warm caves, underground grottos with bats hiding here. There are about 1,000 of karst chasms in Chalkovo Pine Forest and over a dozen of caves. The bottoms of some caves are covered with crystal clear lakes, up to 5 feet deep. Every cave has its name: Рождественская, Тесная, Звериная. Thrill seekers can challenge themselves walking over the narrow bridges between the chasms. Forest pearl in the steppe frame. This is how Ichalkovo Pine Forest is often called for its peculiar beauty of the landscape. You will need a special permit to visit Ichalkovo Pine Forest. Besides, walking here is quite dangerous. You might get lost or fall through the ground. So, when planning a trip to Ichalkovo Pine Forest, take advantage of a professional guide service who will ensure your safety. For those fond of mountains, our region offers one more surprise. It is a unique underground museum of mining, geology and speleology, the only one in Russia. It was opened in 2006 in an operating mine of Peshelansk Gypsum factory in Arzamas district. The adventures start when tourists put on miner jackets, helmets with a miner's lamp, and walk 230 feet down the mine. The Lady of the Gypsies Mountain warmly welcomes the guests and shows her treasures: the unique collection of minerals, samples of mine form and crafts, a purest underground lake and a waterfall, artificial stalactites, and even a Lithic Age man's site with stylized rock paintings. A visit to the Shungite room, absolutely black in color, leaves a lasting impression with the visitors. Shungite is considered to be a salubrious stone. It relieves stress and anxiety. Nizhny Novgorod land has been always famous for its traditions. There are some quite uncommon and original ones. In such cases, you often say seeing is believing. For example, goose fights. Every year, in the middle of March, they hold goose fights in the old town of Pavlovo. Many people from all over Russia, aspiring a spectacular performance, come here to watch those fights. The goose fights became popular in Russia several centuries ago. They say that even His Majesty Peter the Great was fond of this entertainment. But later, during the Soviet times, the fights were prohibited. But nonetheless, despite the prohibitions, the tradition of goose fights remains in Pavlovo up till now. Those who are fond of a more active rest than just enjoying the beauty of nature won't be disappointed either. Nizhny Novgorod tourist agencies offer a wide range of exciting activities. Choose what is more appealing to you. The water area of Gorky Sea is an ideal place for diving and underwater hunting. The charms of the two rivers, the Volga and the Oka, the breathtakingly beautiful sunsets and dawns will dwell in the memory of those who will take a river cruise on a comfortable ship. The cruises available last from 2 to 14 days. Various routes are offered to Moscow, to St. Petersburg, Kizhi and Valaam, the pearls of Russian North, and the entire constellation of the towns along the Volga from Nizhny Novgorod to Astrakhan. If you are fond of adventures, you will love kayaking or rafting down the Vitluga, the Piana, the Kerzhenets, the Serezha, or the Ust rivers. You will be full of absolutely new emotions and impressions. Adrenaline, fresh air and new friends are guaranteed. Only in Nizhny Novgorod region you can enjoy a fascinating trip with a ground effect vehicle, developed by famous designer Rostislav Alexeyev, and with great pleasure to sweep on a smooth river surface or a snow cover of a river with an air cushion vessel. Winter and summer extreme sports, bathing in the pure pools, outdoor sports and games. Tourist festivals, special missions for berrying, fishing and singing.